there! My name is Oddimus Prime, and I'm joined, as always, by my fantastic, wonderful, amazing, and brilliant co-host, Primetime Moff. Hello, Moff!
No. I'm also cold, so I'm wearing my hoodie.
Oh, your turtle Zudi. It's very on brand-ish. Anyway, welcome to the last-ish episode of our celebration of Transformers 40 years, rolling out Transformers 84 to 24. This is the last episode in this format. We've got lots of other stuff planned, but this is the last section of the 40-year history. We've reached the last of our trilogy of trilogies so far. So we've done the Prime Wars, we've done the War for Cybertron, and now we're on to the Legacy trilogy, which ends at the end of 2024. So that will be it for our 40-year celebration. We are going to do one more episode though, which will be an actual episode focusing on 2024 and all of the fantastic things that the 40th anniversary brought. A little bit late because it is now 2025, but that's fine. We can cover this. So yeah, that's what we're doing, and that's where we've got to. So please do remember to watch this video, like and subscribe, and tell your friends and anything else that might help us grow this illustrious channel. Hey Moff, how you doing?
I'm very well. I'm looking forward to discussing this, and I'm really excited about what we're going to do for the next couple of
Oh
weeks
yes.
as we reflect back. It's been a journey. It's been a journey that was a bit more arduous than we thought it was going to be. Um, but as I was saying to you in the preamble, having looked back over 40 years worth of Transformers and had now the full 40th anniversary year. I feel so lucky and privileged to be a lover of a fandom that has so much love. Like, there is nothing that, in my opinion, Star Wars might be the closest. Um, Even Star Wars had bigger dips than Transformers had. It's probably had bigger highs, but it's had bigger dips than
Mm.
Transformers had. There has been such a continual fandom. Yeah, it felt at points living through them. It's certainly in the 90s that Transformers kind of dipped away a wee bit, but actually, when you look back, it really didn't. So I feel very privileged to have had this experience
Mm.
going through it with you, and I'm as much I'm looking forward to doing this one. I'm really looking forward to kind of next couple of weeks as we just look back and just as an overall look and go like, what for things have we learned? What did we not know? What toys did we not know existed? Like genuinely, how many toys did we not know existed that are now are on wants lists or have now been
Yeah.
purchased? How many times did I buy Wayfweight? Did you buy that because of Simon? Um, I just blame you for everything.
I was going to say I haven't seen her in a while. She's probably going to hate me now.
Like I'm back with an Optimus Prime collection essentially from TFA, and she goes, "Is this because you hang about with that Oddimus guy?" Oh, oh God.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
I feel that I've helped you. But yeah, no, it's been amazing. There's been so many interesting things, and as you say, it didn't really dip. And if anything, it just the amount of time that it's been huge. So it was big in the 80s, obviously, but it's been enormous since the early 2000s. There's been so many toy lines, so much going on, even pre-movies, pre-Bayverse movies, I'm saying. And it's just continued to just be bigger and bigger and bigger. It's possibly taking another little dip at the moment, but we'll discuss that at some point. But yeah, so
Yeah.
let's have a quick talk about what sort of things were going on in 2022 to 2024. Now, as we mentioned earlier, we're not really going to talk too much about 2024 because we don't want to talk about the toys of 2024 too much, and we don't want to talk about the 40th anniversary too much because we're going to have a separate episode on that. But we will touch on a few of the bits and bobs that are sort of applicable. So let's have a look at the media. The media from 2022. Weirdly, there's not so much. 2022, we just had the BotBots Netflix show. You ever seen the Bots Netflix show?
Yeah. During my holiday in Egypt this year, my youngest Sean decided that he absolutely loved it and just watched it back to back, and he was giggling his heart out. So I saw lots of it, but not like sat and watched it all. And
Mm.
actually, it's not a Transformers. It's like
No.
it's a Transformers cartoon, obviously, but it's not really a Transformers cartoon, and it is kind of fun. Like it's something in its own right, and
Mm.
it's fun.
Yeah, I have not watched it, surprisingly, considering how well I've watched everything else. Um, but yeah, I haven't got around to it. It might be something to try and watch with my nephew actually. He's into like Teen Titans Go and stuff like that, so it's
Yeah, I think you might like it then, because
similar-ish,
it is kind of just.
maybe.
eh,
Yeah, silly
Uh,
weirdness. So, yeah. And the other thing that started in 2022 was Earthspark, which is, depending on who you talk to, one of the best things that has ever happened in Transformers, or honestly, the worst thing they've ever seen in their lives, and they hate it so much. And I think that depends a little bit on how you are as a fan, and possibly some of your views may be affecting how you enjoy Earthspark. I have watched a few episodes. I didn't dislike it. I just haven't gone back and watched any more. I think I was trying to watch it at work and I wasn't really able to concentrate on it. So it's sort of, I think like two episodes played in the background whilst I wasn't really paying attention. I was like, I need to go back now. And I haven't had a chance yet. But I quite liked it. What did you think?
yeah. We've watched season one like three times.
Hmm.
Sean and I, my youngest, eldest didn't like it. He was like two episodes and he's like, "Oh, this doesn't work for me, Dad. I don't like this." That's fine. But my youngest really enjoys it. But he's never really getting to the second season. He finds the second season a bit naff. We actually during this Christmas break, I was like, let's catch up and watch everything. So we've watched a couple, and we just watched one the other night where Cosmos appears, and it's straight away. It's like he's a spoilers. He's a ride that's like he's been knocked into his alt mode, left in his alt mode, and he's just a ride. And as soon as I spotted him, I was like, oh, that's Cosmos. I get so excited, and he's so strange, and his dimensions are weird and funny, and I was like, that's actually quite cool. And Sean went, I want a toy of that. It's like, yeah, I'll show you a really good toy of that. And stuff like that. But I did say to him, I think there is Earthspark Cosmos coming, so he was quite keen on that. I gave him one of my old Cosmos as well, which was quite cool. I've got like two or three G1 ones. Don't know why I've got so many, but I get them extra. But yeah, so it's pretty cool. There's bits of it I really enjoy. What I really kind of find quite fun about it is the fact that Nick Roche does a lot of character designs. I don't know if
Yes.
he does a lot. He does character designs for it. I don't know how to quantify how much he does, but I think that's pretty cool. And big Nick Roche fan, so that was a reason for
Yeah.
me to watch it. But no, I think it's I don't think it's the best of the more recent ones. I think
No.
Cyberverse was better than it. I think RID was better than it, but I don't think it's bad. Like I think the others were just really good, and I think this is. I'm looking forward to seeing it all the way through because I think that was a big thing with Cyberverse. When I finally watched Cyberverse, I watched it all in one go over a course of a weekend, and actually being able to see it this full story arc, I thought it was really enjoyable, and I kind of feel that Earthspark's going to have that same vibe as well.
Yeah, I think one of my missions this year is to try and go back and watch a lot of stuff, which may or may not be for any reason, um, depending on how things work out. But yeah, I definitely do want to rewatch Earthspark from what I've seen so far. I enjoyed the idea of the story. I quite liked this version of the characters for the most part. I didn't know that Nick Roche. I didn't know until recently that Nick Roche did some of the character designs. But I did always think it looked very IDW, so that makes
Yeah.
perfect sense. Um, some of the characters specifically more than others. And I was surprised how much I enjoyed Alan Tudyk as Optimus Prime. But I don't know why I was surprised because Alan Tudyk is awesome.
Amazing.
And I love Optimus Prime, so it wasn't really a thing I should have been worried about. Anyway, let's move on. We've got more Earthspark in 2023 and 2024. It's still, is it just finished or is it still going? I'm not actually sure if
I think it's still going. I, I was just thinking, I was like, I don't know if it's actually been cancelled. My understanding was we were getting a cartoon for a new cartoon, but I might be wrong. Like I genuinely can't remember. I don't keep in touch with the cartoons
No.
now quite as
Mhm.
much as I should because we've talked about it, it's probably more aimed at the kids than us. My personal preference is that or my personal hope is that the Transformers One universe is brought into a cartoon series because I think that's what they'll do with it because I think they've built too much with it not to do something with it. But we'll talk about that in the. We're
Mm.
going to have an episode where we talk about what the future looks like in
Yes.
our
Yes.
theories and hopes and desires. But no, I think it's going to finish. I always thought it was going to finish with season three. I think it's one of those things that you can't go too long with the animated series.
No.
I think they just jump on a new thing because that's just the right thing to do, and there's so much things you can do with it. So I think I'm sure there is something being announced, but it took me ages to remember. Is it called Time of the Primes, Age of the Primes? I'm not going to remember what the cartoon was.
Yeah, no, that's fair. 2023, we had another movie. Woo! Rise of the Beasts, which was a follow-up to Bumblebee, obviously we all know. It incorporated some more lovely G1 elements that everybody was very happy about, with the inclusion of Unicron. Ooh, Unicron, exciting. And it also included Beast Wars, which was absolutely lovely to see.
Mm.
Whether or not the interpretation of Beast Wars was your cup of tea as a Beast Wars fan, and whether or not all of your favorite characters got the screen time and or storylines they deserved is another matter entirely. But it's for me, it it sits somewhere between uh I don't know. It it changes. When I saw it at the cinema, I thought it was really, really good, but I've sort of not really watched it since. I've seen bits of it, and I'm like, this isn't quite as cool as I thought it was. And I think whereas Bumblebee is probably my favorite of the live action movies, and then 2007, the original one, and then probably Dark of the Moon, then Rise of the Beasts, which
I'd
makes,
agree. That's where
yeah,
I put it.
yeah, I think that feels about right to me. And then it's the other three, which are interchangeably bad, um, for
But
various reasons.
I thought it was. I really enjoyed it. Like you, I really enjoyed it in the cinema.
Yeah,
I'm a big Beast Wars fan, so I'm so glad to see Beast Wars on the big
yeah,
screen. I thought some of it was brilliant. I'm a huge Unicron fan, so
yeah,
seeing Unicron was very cool. I thought it was again set up really interesting. But the fact that it was a tease for GI Joe, like
yes,
there was so many aspects of it I thought were really good and gave me so much more hope for the future of the franchise. Like
mm,
I'd probably give you to say that. Like whereas Bumblebee, I felt almost was like we're just doing a standalone. It didn't really feel like it was going to lead on to anything. Like if I'm honest, so at that point when Bumblebee happened, I thought, oh, that was good, but are we getting anything more? Whereas this gave me hope for the future. Whether that comes to fruition or not, we don't know.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I think is their
Obviously,
song at the moment.
everything is obviously still up in the air at the moment, but I believe that they're still doing the G.I. Joe Transformers movie, which I believe is still a continuation from Rise of the Beasts. So we're still firmly in the Bayverse, even though Bumblebee and Rise of the Beast make zero sense uh, as a continuation or as a prequel rather to the
Because
Bayverse.
The Unicron bit throws all
Yeah,
off.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that and well, a lot of
Probably
things,
not.
a lot of things. Anyway, but we're not going to go into that. Maybe that's another video we can do.
Yeah.
Finally, we'll just touch on 2024. So this year we've had obviously Transformers 1 and more Earthspark. Transformers 1 we've spoken about before, and we will speak about again, and we're not going to speak about now.
The only other thing I would say that we've forgotten on the list is the fact they put out More Than Meets the Eye or
Oh
Arrival for
yes,
Cybertron if you're from the UK.
yes, yes,
And at the cinema, like that was an event. Like that was a really cool event to go see how it all begins on the big screen. And I know I said we're going to talk about we're going to do an episode where we talk about the future. That my excitement for that was more that are we then going to get Transformers the movie in the cinema when we're old enough to appreciate it and enjoy it and go see it 17 times?
Yeah, no, it would be. I mean, I really hope they do at least what they did with More Than Meets the Eye, because it's. I haven't seen it in the cinema since 84, 85. Whenever it was, I actually saw it in the cinema. I think it was 84, December. Anyway, doesn't matter.
What, Transformers the movie?
Sorry, no,
86.
86, 87. Sorry, I'm getting old. It's
It's
been
your
a
old
long
age.
couple of weeks. Wow, been in that, mate. Um, yeah, so yeah, sort of 86. And I haven't seen it in the cinema since because it's had a couple of re-releases and a couple of special showings here and there, but I don't think I've seen it anything other than a
I've never seen it.
large
Never seen it in
projector
cinema.
screen. Oh, I think I think I saw it at TFN when they did it on a larger projector, but
Yeah,
it's not
I've seen that.
not the
I've
same.
seen
But yeah, having it in the cinema, and it gets re-released in America like all the time, and we never
that.
get it over here. But
The only bit that upsets me is there's like 0.0001% chance we actually get our version, which is the better version. Like
yeah,
the Star Wars type scroll rather than the Superman-esque titles bits and Optimus Prime will return. That's the version I want to see it in cinema because
yeah,
that is my version of it. And
yeah.
it's the one I don't watch because all the high quality versions are not that. Like,
Hmm.
but that's the one that every now and again I go, I'm going to watch my version, and that's the one I just excites me even more. But anyway, that's a future conversation.
Yeah. We're touching too much on things we shouldn't be touching. Right, on to comics very quickly. Very quickly on comics. Only because I've literally just read the first four issues of this. So I want to talk about it. We didn't really mention it because we haven't been touching on comics, but in the last couple of years, not only did IDW get rebooted into a completely new continuity and a completely new storyline, which I think I got the first issue and I wasn't a big fan, and I don't think I went back. Concentrating on a character who nobody knew, and yeah, I didn't really go back to it. And also, it just felt so unnecessary that the same company was doing a reboot of something that they'd just finished. It
Yep.
just felt weird. Anyway, that was all knocked on the head, and Skybound turned up, and they made some Transformers comics, didn't they? Um,
Yeah.
and for a start, Void Rivals was the first thing to come out, and it wasn't a Transformers comic, and it wasn't part of the Energy Universe, and we didn't know anything about any of that. And then suddenly it was, and it was Transformers, and we didn't realize that that's what it was going to be. I think there was a lot of rumors, but that's what it was going to be. But it wasn't like advertised as it was linking into Transformers. It was like you got the issue, you got to the end, and it's like, holy shit, there's Transformers. And then it was the Energon universe. I only just got round to reading the first four issues of it after picking up a big pile from my comic shop. Um, and I'm so impressed. It's such a, it's very G1, but it's also not. It's a nice new take on it. The art is interesting and fun, and the actual it's a Transformers comic for adults. It's for us. It's definitely for us. It's not for kids. I mean, some slight spoilers, so feel free to skip. At the end of the first issue, Starscream discovers just how squishy humans are by squishing one in his bare hands. Well, metal fists. Um, and then the start of the next issue, Optimus is having a wander around the beautiful countryside and treads on a deer. It's it's quite grim, and Bumblebee gets his face blown out in the first issue, and Starscream is just a psychopath. It's really interesting, and it's a really interesting take, and I'm really enjoying it. And I love the fact that they've changed enough, but they've kept enough,
Yeah.
so that they keep the core characters really small because there's not enough energy for them to revive everybody. So that's one of the aspects of the storyline, which is interesting. And Yeah, it's cool. There's something else I was going to say, but I can't remember what it was. It doesn't matter. Oh, and the
It's done.
human
It's done
characters.
some impressive sales figures as well,
Yeah.
which is bodes well for the future. Like it shows that the brand
Um,
does have interest and it has does have legs to kind of continue going on. Whereas I think the post end IDW didn't have that kind of sales figures, and it was like,
yeah.
is this brand kind of been done to death in comics? Turns out no.
Yeah. The only concern there is Dreamwave also had record sales figures, but they also had a terrible business model. So
Yes,
it's entirely likely that we won't have that
this will be
problem.
okay. Yeah.
Anywho, let's move on to toys. Oh my gosh, mate, the text so small on that I can't read it, but that's okay. We don't need to read it. So we have toy lists for 2022 and 2023. I haven't put a toy list up for 2024 because we're going to talk about that differently. So let's go for these. 2022, we had Generations, which was Legacy, the first start of Legacy, which was called Legacy. Oh, now here's really good, isn't it? Because I've forgotten what all the different types of Legacy are called. There's,
I think Legacy United, Legacy Evolution. Is that right?
yeah, so it's Legacy United Evolution. So the Legacy, the first series only was just called Legacy. Good, right? That's what I thought. I knew that. So that's Legacy. 83 figures apparently. That's nice. Studio Series is continuing, which is just such a delightful line. It doesn't matter
Isn't it?
what interests you, and they've expanded it so much from just the Bayverse live action movies to obviously the 86 toys, to the gamer stuff. Devastation stuff's supposed to be coming out soon. All sorts of other exciting things, so that's all good. Cyberverse continued for a little bit and then ended. Um, there was a load of vintage toys. There was some more masterpieces. There was some more collaboratives, which we haven't really spoken about those too much, but the decent ones are continuing now that we've got rid of the
And
chuff.
at this point is when the GI Joe kicks in as well.
Ah,
But
yes,
we've
yes.
got an honourable mention, so we'll chat about that
Yeah,
when we
yeah,
come
yeah,
on.
that's cool.
But yeah.
RED, the robot engineered design, they're still going
Enhanced.
for some enhanced,
Robot.
sorry, robot enhanced robot. No, I thought it was engineered.
I can't get a staff.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's a terrible toy line. I had one in my top picks, and we decided to cut down our top picks, and that was the first slide I just deleted instantly. Um, Authentics, that's the thing, and there were some movie masterpieces, and that's that. In 2023, we had a huge bunch of Generations toys in Legacy United. Yep, got that right. Um, and then there was the Rise of the Beasts figures. There's more Studio Series figures. There's Earthspark figures. There's more Authentics, more vintage, still more REDs somehow, and a bunch of Masterpiece. I'm not going to go through how many toys there were of each line, but there are fewer ranges. But at
Yeah.
the same time, there are more collaborations with other companies.
Yes.
So we're getting the YOLO Park stuff is sort of becoming a bit more prevalent. 2023, as despite the fact that everybody seems to have discovered them this year, is when Blockies first appeared. The Wave One stuff was that year. I had the first wave before anybody was talking about it because I'm
A geek.
original. Uh, yeah, that. But yeah, there's been other bits and bobs. Lego, we've had the Lego Optimus Prime, and we've had the
Yeah.
Lego Bumblebee, which are sort of, I think Lego Optimus Prime might have come out a couple of years before. Was it 22? Can't
Yeah,
remember.
22.
Yeah. And as we said, Robosend with have been bringing out more and more absolutely crazy, crazy expensive, amazing toys.
I think you know what's really cool as well, just from a Hasbro point of view, we've talked there about Legacy having kind of three different brands, which is three different packaging, but the now having collectors in the company. and the design team and the packaging team and the marketing team, they get it. They get the collector's bit. And we have the combiners. We had the Stunticons come out, and Breakdown came out and during Legacy United time, but it still come out with a legacy packaging, so that if you were an inbox collector, you still had your packaging. And I thought
Mm.
that just shows that they do listen, they do get it. Because if you're a collector, inbox collector, and four of your bots come out in one packaging style and one comes out in a different one, sorry, it would be really frustrating. So actually, I remember when that was announced and they're like, "Don't worry, we're going to can you keep it with the original packaging." I thought actually, fair play. Like, there's lots of things that Hasbro do that frustrate us,
Mm.
but I think we have to kind of recognise that they are a big company that's got to make money. Like that's
Oh,
priority number one,
yeah, yeah.
money, right? But when they can then still do things that are there to appease fans and do nice things for fans, I think that's a good thing. And I thought
Yeah,
so.
yeah,
We're
definitely.
just that the aspect of the brand changes. I thought that's something that I don't remember Andy ever really kind of talking about in any great detail of. But anyway, that was actually a good thing there. Didn't just go, well, too bad, you're now on the next new line and it's going to be that different one. And
I mean, they did it. They've just been doing it again recently with some of the Buzzworthy Bumblebee stuff. So Buzzworthy Bumblebee is obviously a Generations-esque, a Generations adjacent line. So it incorporates lots of stuff from the Generation sort of stuff, but it also incorporates stuff from other lines. So you've had some stuff from RID, you've had some of the more basic Cyberverse stuff in there. It's a weird mishmash line that seems to be we don't know where to put something, so we'll just stick it in this line, but with a little bit more thought. But you had some Studio Series 86 figures in there,
yeah,
um, which was a bit odd. But also, you had, for some inexplicable reason, the Studio Series Rise of the Beasts Prime came as part of the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line. So he had the yellow packaging and everything else. And he's just been re released as a normal Studio Series figure in the Studio Series packaging. Same number, just in the other
yeah,
packaging. So if you are a Studio Series collector, you don't have weird yellow boxes
yeah.
every so often.
That's good.
So it's a good thing. Anyway,
I
let's.
think Legacy's quite an interesting line actually. Like it's a line that's now just finished in the 40th anniversary. I know we're going to talk about
Hmm,
the 40th anniversary in its own episode, but I think if you think about these kind of trilogy of toy lines leading up to this, and they all have their kind of themes or gimmicks, or they're going around one thing or other. This was a really good line to lead into the 40th anniversary.
hmm,
The Legacy is essentially like it's the legacy of Transformers. We're going to give you a history of Transformers. The range of like lines that they've included in this has been incredible, and kind of like you said with Studio Series. Studio Series, what I like about Studio Series is it's made me want and appreciate character stroke toys that I would, if you'd asked me, I was going to pick up I don't know, a gamer edition figure, I'd probably say no. But there's been stuff I've picked up and I'm like, well, that's really good because it's
hmm,
so well engineered. Legacy has done that with so many toys that I was like, I have no interest in the Unicron trilogy toys. And then they've brought out stuff that I'm like, this is great. Like, so Legacy has been a really clever line that has
hmm,
touched on. I actually, when we're going to do the 40th anniversary bit, I'm going to check and see. I think they've probably done something of every, other than kind of like, they've not done a Cyberverse toy. Oh no, did they have done a Cyberverse toy? They did. But they've not done
yeah.
they've not done an Earthspark toy. And I'm going to take it as a challenge to go and see how many of the cartoons, stroke toy lines that we've had has Legacy done a version of, because I think it's a very much a best of series, which was
Oh,
a
definitely.
when you know that that's going to finish in the 40th anniversary. We weren't thinking this in 2022. We were not thinking going, well, this is leading into a 40th anniversary line, but this has been a 40th anniversary line over the course of 3 years. So a really, really cool toy line that I have really enjoyed. And I am looking forward to the future. But when you look back at Legacy as a trilogy, some of the toys we've got are absolutely brilliant. And there's some of them in there that I would never have said. Like I have literally just this week got the Titan class, what do you call them?
Tidal wave.
By the way, I had no real desire. I wasn't picking up. I picked it up with Zavi, but see, as soon as I got it, I was like, "This is amazing!" such a good toy. It's like this is so cool. And I think they've done that throughout with loads of bits of it. So yeah, I look forward to talking about it, but I'm going to take a note that I'm going to take an action to check how many of the toy lines did it and cartoons did Legacy actually manage to cover. Because I
Yeah,
think they've pretty much everything.
I was just doing a little mental tick sheet, and I think just about
Let's not
yeah,
do that.
yeah, yeah. Let's not do that. But yeah, no, I think this is a very good point. I hadn't really thought of it. So I've been banging on for a little while that I, as much as I love getting new versions of toys that we've had before again and again, I really we talked about it as a reveal thing a little while ago. I really want to see something new. I really
Yeah,
want to see something that's, we had Unicorn Trilogy. That's a completely different take on Transformers, and it was all new characters. Some of the characters are the same. You had lots of sort of nostalgia buttons being pressed, but it was a new take. Now we do obviously get that with Earthrise and Cyberverse and all of those to an extent, and Transformers One to an extent, but it's always been like the not the main line, but is do you know what I mean?
yeah. I think the way I separate it now in my head is you've got mainline such an
Yeah,
interesting bit. What is mainline like? Is it their generations collect? Because it still comes under generations, is the collector range. That's what
yeah,
has been
yeah, yeah,
going on since classics kicked it off, and that is a line that is taking. I would probably say 99% of the time has taken a character or a toy that has been released before, giving a new version of it. Like
yeah,
that's pretty much what that is. Your main line, and the way I look at it, the main line is the new line that's there to engage the next audience, and
yeah,
that's where you get brand new stuff. So, when Classics was out, there was also a main line.
yeah,
When Henkai was out, there was also a main line. All those ones have had a main line, and
yeah,
that main line is a new version of stuff. Don't get me wrong, most of the more modern stuff is not Unicorn Trilogy is probably the last time it was a real different look to things like
yeah,
Laserbeak, for example, like things that did not look G1-esque. A lot of the more modern stuff is very G1
yeah,
inspired, right? It is, it very much is. Or, there's stuff in there that's not G1, but it's still inspired by whatever it was from. However, it's still a new version of it,
yeah.
whereas our collector range, which is currently Legacy, is going to be Power of the Primes, Age of the Primes, Power of the Primes. I
Age
keep
the
doing this
Primes,
wrong.
Age the Primes.
Um, that's a different thing altogether because there's stuff
Yeah,
in there that hasn't had toys. So that has totally. That's why I think I'm more excited for that line than I have been because I'm like, oh, what's that going to bring us?
mm,
But historically, your legacy, your you know, um, Power of the Primes, your War for Cybertron, they are all giving you modern versions of stuff we've had before. So that's where it's the kind of
yeah,
it's more the collector focused line rather than
definitely.
being as if new stuff.
I think what I mean really is that Unicorn Trilogy was obviously aimed at everybody. It was trying
Yes.
to get
Yeah,
the
yeah.
the old people in and the new people in and everything else. The new lines like Cyberverse and Earthrise and stuff, they're aimed primarily at the kids. They're
Yeah.
not thinking of because they've got the collector's line, so they don't worry about that. So they don't care if we don't buy Earthrise figures, which is why all the Earthrise figures are not decent, if that makes sense. They're not high quality complex things. They're more the kids sort of figures. What I'd like is to see a new iteration of Transformers that's aimed at collectors as much as it is newbies, which I don't think is something we're going to get because
No, and TF1, if you look at most of the TF1 merch that's out there is aimed at kids. It's not aimed
yeah,
at us. Like people say
100%.
TF1 is aimed at us. It's not. It was never aimed at. It was never going to be aimed at
No,
us. And whether that's right or wrong, um,
nope.
I think that's the problem. It wasn't aimed at us, but it's probably our bit that went and seen it. It
Yes.
wasn't the kids that went to see it. That's where it's been a bomb. That it
Yeah.
they thought it was going to captivate the younger audience. They thought it was going to get you Mario. audience, your Sonic audience, your kids going to
Mm.
see it. So they did toys are related to that because the Go to Smith's toys are still toy TF1 toys that are the stuff that you bought that are hot piles of garbage.
Hey,
Um,
what? This is an amazing toy.
Whereas us as collectors, that's not where they put their mark. That's not where they put their finances in behind it. Is that the reason it failed? I don't know because we all went to see it anyway. So in the nicest way, the end it says that it failed because they didn't have Studio Series figures out. That's not why it failed
No,
because we
no.
went to see it. It failed because it never captivated that young audience and that young audience's parents and that young audience's grandparents who were going to take them to see it. That's the audience that it needed to capture, and it didn't for it to do well. All of us who wanted to see it, who would have bought the Studio Series figures, all went to see it. Like I've heard people say that it's because it's not been dropped out of that. That's nonsense. Like if you think that, then how much more? Who do you know in your group that didn't go to see it because there wasn't a Studio Series? I don't know Badassatron on the shelf. Nobody. No, no. Everybody that I think that would have went to see it for that has went to see it.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Um,
I'll go off my soapbox.
Save this for our other episode.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Let's
right.
talk about toys.
Yes, let us talk about toys. So I'm going to mix things up slightly because we're going to start with. Oh, wait. No, no, no. Doing it all wrong. Doing it all wrong, Moff. Doing it all wrong.
Is it right then?
Yeah, I'm doing it. Shush. Um, boop, boop. Yeah. Uh, might cut this bit out.
Make us better. Probably won't. Probably just
No,
forget about it.
no,
Get
I
cut
won't.
out. Just
Is I it's everything's fine. See? Seamless. Seamless. Look at my lovely splash screen that I made. Anyway, so we're changing things up slightly because we're gonna start with you. Even though I'm
See,
hosting.
before we get to it, can I just
Yep.
say what I do love with the newer stuff, the newer lines, is this kind of mosaic artwork they put in the
Yes.
background of their stuff. I love this stuff, and if I had wall space, I don't have wall space to put the art up I have just now, but if I had wall space, I would love to put that up. I
Yeah.
actually continually think about actually buying a proper big new digital frame that sits here and see all the artwork I've got, scan it in, have it up, and put it up because I don't have it. I've got so much stuff I'd love to put up, and I never put up. But a digital frame to put up is maybe something I should do. Anyway, yeah. So I'm first up, and I have picked a toy that probably captivates everything I've wanted from Transformers since I was a boy. My one of my absolute favorite things on the screen when I was a child was Skyfire. I the two episodes where kind of him really in it, really, I just thought he was brilliant. I thought this character is incredible. I have always had a separation in my head. I didn't have a lot of the toys, and I didn't really see a lot of the toys. So I always separated Skyfire and Jetfire. I didn't see them being the same thing as a kid, and I'm comfortable just for continually for the rest of my life. I will treat them as two different things.
Mm.
Jetfire is a toy, Skyfire is a cartoon. This was the first, and I'm sure I'm right, the first official Skyfire toy we ever received. Everything else has been Jetfire, and kind of they've always tried to kind of mesh them to kind of have them be the best of both. The Siege one is damn good. It's
Oh, it is.
definitely the best that Hasbro produced, but this thing is just fabulous. I absolutely love it. It's fun to transform. It's huge, and comes with some wee khaki figures that people like. I didn't really get into the wee figures, but you've got yours there. Look at you, prepped.
Yeah,
You
well,
did. I will give you a peek behind the curtain. Simon did want to pick this, and he's about to tell
I
you
did.
why. I shouted at him, told him, "No, do not steal one of my absolute favorite toys I own just for something ridiculous." Oddimus. But this is a great toy. This is an absolute stonking toy, and it is everything that captivates me for a masterpiece. It looks and feels like the thing that I saw on screen. It has got some weight about it. It's fun to transform. Just brilliant. Love it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. disagree with anything you said. I mean, I bought it fairly recently, um, and I, I bought it for a different reason, and my intention was open it, get it out, have a little play, put it back in its box, sell it. And I'm not. I have no plans to do that. That doesn't mean I won't do it in the future, but I have no plans to do that. He does need somewhere to live. He's just sat on my desk at the
Yeah.
moment because I haven't got. He doesn't go in any of these cabinets, but I'm getting increasingly problematic with that stuff. Maybe I'll put him with this giant. Maybe he should. They should have a little shelf somewhere.
Oh, that's a great toy.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like that, and that's Jetfire. Like that is a modern version of Jetfire.
Exactly.
Articulated,
That's
looks great, looks like the toy. Yeah.
yeah. No, I agree with you completely. Yeah, he's amazing.
So do you
And
want to tell everybody why you were trying to pick this beautiful toy in your top five?
because he comes with a tiny Optimus Prime. Um, it's really daft because I was looking at getting the KO version because to get this, but the weird thing was that I want this because it's a tiny, articulated, really nice looking official Optimus Prime. Um, and he's lovely. He's really posable. He's got like ball jointed hips and ball jointed arms, and his knees all move. And does his head move? No, his head doesn't move, but that's fine. And he just looks amazing. He just looks like an animated Optimus Prime. Really, really nice. Oh, in fact, decent paint apps as well. There's a few of them on there. Um, and he's really cool, but he only comes with Jetfire, along with Wheeljack and Jazz, which is nice. But
Skyfire.
oh, sorry, Skyfire. He only comes with Skyfire, just for the alt mode for having some little tiny
Yeah.
dudes that you can pop into his cockpit and whatnot, which is amazing. It's the second time that Hasbro or Takara have brought out a version of Optimus Prime that I needed to get that comes with a jet that I don't necessarily want or need because there's the one the Stratosphere for Revenge of the Fallen that had the little tiny Prime on it. So annoying. But anyway, yes, that's why I spent several pounds on a masterpiece figure I didn't necessarily want, but grew to love nonetheless. So,
And he is. I don't know many people. I know some people have not enjoyed him,
hmm.
um, but they're wrong.
What's the fans' toys one called?
Phoenix, which is again is a nice
Phoenix.
toy, but he doesn't. He is a nice toy, but he doesn't have the same aesthetics. That's
Yeah,
this is as close to Skyfire as you're going to get.
yeah. The other thing is as well that the big difference between fans' toys and third-party stuff is that they're toys in a different sense of the word. Even masterpiece toys are toys. Toys to be played with, to
Yeah,
be fiddled with, to be transformed. Third party stuff, we've spoken about this before, but third party stuff is, as a general rule, but not always, more complicated and is less designed to last. It's meant to be something
yeah,
that you display in a very cool collection, and you don't sit there fiddling with it like you would do a mainline or a Hasbro or a Takara figure. So something like the Fans Toys Phoenix, you're not going to play with it in the same way that you're going to play with this dude, and that's fine. Um, my actual pick for my first pick of the top five is surprisingly enough, it's an Optimus Prime. This figure reminds me of you, Moff.
no. Oh, because I got it at TFUK Con. Is
There
that
you
right?
go. Well
Yeah.
done.
Because I had bought it and I was like, I'm going to keep this and I'm going to take it and I'm going to sit at TFUK Con, the very first TFUK Con, and I'm going to open this. And I love this version of Optimus Prime. I love this mold. And as soon as we knew this mold was coming, I was like, I'm going to get a Scourge, which was amazing. Um, uh, But I think it's a great toy. Like I genuinely think it's a really, really nice version or updated version of a fantastic original toy.
Yeah,
It really does. The tanker is fantastic on it. When we had the one in the was it the Power of the Primes?
there
Was
was
it
one in
the
Titan's Return.
Titan's Return? So it was Titan's Return, and it was a triple changer one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I
So
didn't like
and,
that.
and it was okay. It wasn't terrible, but it was nothing compared to this. This is an absolute. And I said this to you before. I have two of this
Yeah,
because when I see it, when I have a mold that I really enjoy, that then goes for ridiculously cheap. This went for stupid money, and I
yeah.
think it was game. I was like, I'm gonna buy a second one because, like, I can't have too many of them. So I've got one in alt mode, one in road mode because both are beautiful. Look at the flames on that truck. Like,
It's so good. It's a lovely, lovely, lovely version of Prime. Um, I picked it because it's just a figure that I really, really like. I picked it because of the weird connection to you, in that you had it at TFUK Con, and that's the first time we met properly, was at that TFUK Con. And you had it, and I had mine. I hadn't got mine yet, so I wanted to play with yours. Um, for now. Um, Yeah, as I say, it's a lovely figure. It's really great. It's a good versatile mold because you got it for Scourge and others. It's been done a few times already, but it's funny because out of all the different versions of Primes, this one's had three different versions since Generations, since Chug began. Three different versions of this figure have come out, completely different looks as well.
yeah.
Because you had the Titans Returns one, which was chuff. But there's even a couple of versions of that because there
The
was the
Titan's
version.
Return one's cool when it's got the one with the decals on the
Yeah,
trailer,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
like
That
I
was
want
the
that. I keep meaning to buy the Repro labels for this because I want to do that.
mm,
Like, it's clever.
yeah, and it's great. And then obviously there was the one in Generations that came out that was a bit more
Yeah,
weird looking.
but cool.
Uh, but yeah, cool. A bit more weirdly spiky and interesting, and a really odd head. But yeah, he was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah. Anyway, that's him. So he is my pick for this lot. So yours is up next. Do you remember what it is?
Yes, because I've
Good.
got slides beside me as well. Cheating.
Hey, right. There we go.
So I'm going cheating and going Menasor. I do have the upgrade kits for this, which I think that sword, like that's only disappointing is that there's some bits of this that you're just like, that sword just looks like he's holding a kid's toy rather than an actual sword. Like, so the upgrade kit for this was well worth it because it gives a bigger sword, it makes his thighs bigger, gives him better hands. But that being said, take those wee bits away because it is Hasbro. This is a great toy. It's so clever. The way that it combines so nice. I was really happy to get this Menasor. Menasor's not one that really ranks up for me, so when I say I really enjoy this, that just shows you that it is an impressive toy. They're all nice wee bots on their own, and then they combine to be a cracking version of Menasor, which is really good. And it's the kind of the structure for how we're going to get Superior, I suppose, as well.
Yeah.
How things work. The fact that the arm limbs snapped in two so that they can kind of pose like that, really clever. It's a really fun way to do it. I'm very very happy with this. I have seen the box set of this and thought it was really cool and thought if they just did box sets like this as the main thing to do going forward, I'd be very happy. But that's clearly not the way they're going to go.
No.
But this is a cool toy, very cool toy.
Yeah, I must actually admit I have not experienced it at all. I've not held it or anything. Um, it looks amazing. I, as we know, I haven't been collecting Chug at this point. I was almost tempted to go back because of dudes like this, and he just looks amazing. He looks like the animation model because he's got the other bots on the backs of
Yeah.
his legs rather than the front, which is how they were in the cartoon for whatever reason. And yeah, he looks amazing, and I like the cleverness of the way that they um, basically made a completely different way of doing a combiner
Yeah,
in that
yeah,
it's not the arms and the legs are not the bots, they're just on the arms and the legs
Yeah.
look like how it did in the cartoons.
No, and it's good. It's a good way to get the balance of both. I think
Mm,
it's a clever way
definitely.
to do it. My only hope now is that they complete the G2 version of it.
Yeah. Oh,
The
gorgeous
there's
colours.
two out so far. There's a third one coming out. Breakdown. So I hope they do it because that is the only thing I'd say is that's what Generation Select should have been. They should have just done a Generation Select version of this in G2 colours.
Mm,
Like just do it as a box set and just drop it rather than these itty bitty bits. They've dropped them in. Was it Race for Velocitron, the second wave, which was a nightmare to get hold of, like
yeah.
for drag strip distribution issues and exclusives, the challenges, but
Yeah.
we'll not focus on it. We'll focus on the positives. That's a great, fun, updated version of a combiner. Now, on to yours, which is not an Optimus Prime, which is
It's not.
oh,
It's not. It's that. So, I was trying to think of things that weren't Optimus Prime, and obviously I haven't been collecting much of Chug, but I have been collecting Studio Series 86. And it occurred to me that this piece of absolute weirdness is actually a really fun little toy. It's just cool. It's the oh, don't know, third official version of this because there was the one that came with Bumblebee in the Masterpiece line.
yeah, yeah,
And then there was one that came with one version of Bumblebee from the
yeah,
Buzzworthy line, I
yeah.
think. It was,
So are you just going with of this? Because there's I've got other ones I can give you as well. So there was
oh, go on then.
uh, back in the 90s, and it was unofficial, was the PVC line, did I?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the coolest of Daniel in this space-ish one is the RC, the Titans Return one, which turns out our head.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I wasn't
But
counting that because it doesn't do
they
the.
couch.
Okay, they count, fine. Um,
But
okay, but it's the first version of this that we've
yeah,
got as a
standalone proper main line.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, using mainline as a term that we've decided doesn't necessarily mean what we say
And
it
I
means.
think the cool thing with this is that for me, I've got this one as Daniel, and then I've got the masterpiece one as Spike.
Mm,
Because they're kind of different enough. They're a bit bigger, bit different
yeah,
scale wise. So I was like, I'm just gonna call it in my head because it's your own head canon for this kind of stuff, isn't it? Like for how these things work.
yeah.
But the fact that they kind of with Studio Series, they are going and doing all these wee bits that you just nobody saw this coming. Surely that they were
No,
going to do
no,
this and transfer in
no.
the normal lives.
And when the first few bots came out for Studio Series, it did look like we were going to get like non-transforming additional bots
Yeah, 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 yeah,
so um the wheelie.
yeah.
I didn't think we'd then get a wheelie figure.
No.
So actually, isn't there a Spike one
Mhm.
that came with
Yeah, that's rotten.
um yeah. But yeah, I love it. It transforms, it's bonkers, it's got little blast effects. And it looks correct in both modes. Yes,
Yep,
it might have been nice to have a little bit more paint on that scary flesh face. But hey, that's the way of things. Yeah, cool figure, fun to fiddle with, ticks all the boxes.
yep.
Next.
Again, a fun, small, bigger that ticks all the boxes, and that is Cosmos. With a race flag, I just because it's the race for Velocitron, like the flag's not really needed. Like you can just
No.
ditch that thing. But it's a great Cosmos. Like it really is. It feels a great blend of animation and toy. Like it's a fun toy, and that we talked about like my very first one being Skyfire, like Masterpiece Skyfire.
Mm.
You're not getting those hollow bit arm bits. You're not getting like bits that it's a far higher quality collector's piece that's going to look far better. However, as I continually tell people, if you want fun Transformers, you can't beat Hasbro. Like you can get better looking robots, you can get better looking op modes in Masterpiece in third party. You do not get better fun toys, fun transforming toys than Hasbro,
Mm.
and this is one of those examples. It's just a great fun bot, and actually, most of the mini bots they've done in the last 5, 6 years have been in that kind of. These are really nice. They're not, I hear people saying a mini masterpiece, and I've maybe used that with one or two that are a bit of are a bit closer. This isn't a mini masterpiece because it's got things like those gaps in its arms, right?
Yeah.
It's not. But what it is it's damn sight fun. It
Oh
really
yeah.
is. It just looks cool. And the recent GoBot repaint gives me the opportunity to have both modes, which is just great fun.
Yeah, it is one of the few figures I actually got from this line. Um, because why did I get it? I don't know.
Because he's
Because it was
fun. Like
cool.
what
Yeah.
says?
Um, yeah, he's an awesome version of Cosmos. He's just gorgeous. He's just so fun. It's a fun bot to transform. It's a fun bot to fiddle with. He's great. I immediately lost the flag because it's stupid, and only relevant to the subline, has no application either
No.
anywhere else. I love that Cosmos, since the animated series, has always had this massive top part to the saucer,
Mhm.
whereas the original toy was a little bit more sleek, weirdly.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and I love the sort of the fake because his hands used to be the three like
Yeah. Yeah.
engine fingers, and they've got those sort of built onto the side of uh the pieces, but the hands is actually a fake out because they've got them in the
Yeah.
swinging out gap bit. Anyway, yeah, great figure, lovely, and a very good choice. It would be nice if they do something mini bots, mini, not
Yeah, agree.
deluxe.
Agree.
Uh,
I don't. That's always been my thing. I want mini bots to be real mini bots, but that doesn't take away from this being a great toy. It's just I agree with you. Mini bots should be mini bots.
yeah. But anyway, I can't remember what my one is next. So
Oh, I
I'm
do. I remember what yours is, and that's a toy that I had. If you'd told me that this was coming out, like before we saw pictures stuff, I was like, it doesn't really, I'm not, doesn't interest me. And then it's amazing,
good. Glad
and it
you remember
is.
what it is. Oh yeah, that. Yeah. So in the last couple of years, right, let's go back further. When I first saw pictures of the Armada version of this with his just non-Optimus Prime looking head with those giant ears, I really did not like it. I loved the other bot mode, his non-combined form, but I
Mhm,
did
mhm.
not like the whole combined thing. Subsequently to that, I have grown to love that toy in all of its many colors and guises, and all of the different versions of it, and combining it with Jetfire and Overload, and it's just amazing. I love it. I've got three or four versions, and it's amazing. And then Fans Hobby did their version, and that was just so nice. But it's Fans Hobby, and therefore third party, which looks amazing. It's a little bit terrifying to transform in places, but again, good fun toy. But it's not one I'm going to sit there and play with. Then they announced this, and oh boy, that's a fun figure. It's just so nice.
Yeah,
I
it really is so
yeah,
good.
yeah. It's I was so happy. I was so glad to get it. It feels like a proper commander class figure as well.
It does. It
Um,
does.
because they had a sort of like Rodimus Prime prior to that, and he was fine. He was a nice figure. It was a good Rodimus Prime.
Yeah,
But the
but
problem
he
with
didn't feel
Rodimus,
the same as
yeah,
the yeah. He didn't feel the same as Jetfire or Skylinks before it.
yeah,
It kind of was like I kind of feel the same. Agree.
yeah,
This was the opposite. This was like, oh, this is great for its
yeah.
money.
And it's what you wanted the original one to be. It's super
Yes.
posable. It looks exactly correct. I mean, there's probably a little couple of bits here and there you can
Yeah,
quibble.
of course.
They sacrificed some of the functionality that the trailer had. Hasn't got the bit that comes on the back, the sort of cantilevered part, and the other little missile pod, and a few other bits and bobs. But other than that, it's just a
Yeah,
stonking piece of hefty. It's so hefty
yeah.
as well. I
Do you
love
know
it.
what really surprises me, especially being Hasbro, that they didn't just do the cabinets one like they did originally? Because I had the cabinets one and I had this originally, the original toy of this, and it just didn't click for me. And I got rid of it. The only two things I really kept from that era, were the Armada Megatron. I had one of them for years, and I still have my original kind of just the maybe deluxe class size, the single cab, because I think that's nicer. And I wish they had done a separate release of that so that you could have the best of both. But I couldn't not have it. That's just beautiful. That's just gorgeous,
Yeah,
that thing.
it's great. And I've got a big soft spot for Armada Prime as well because my original one I bought on my honeymoon. So
Oh,
that's another thing. Yeah, no, great figure. And I'm really glad. And it almost made me buy more Chug because I was so tempted to just go, hey, I don't want to collect Chug, but I will collect Armada Chug.
should have.
And
Should have, by the way.
I know I and I've several times I've nearly done it. I've nearly gone back and got Megs. I've nearly
The
gone
Galvatron is beautiful.
I've nearly gone back and got Hotshot and Starscream and Tidal Wave again. As you said earlier, it looks awesome. So yeah, I'm having a bit of a
Legacy has
Armada
genuinely.
renaissance.
It's. I had no interest in any of these. I would
Nope.
not have picked these up 10 years ago, but the way they have delivered them, and the Armada Megatron's nice. The Fans Hobby Armada Megatron is one of the best third-party figures I've ever owned. Um, and the Hasbro one comes damn close. That sells you a lot. Every one of the Armada figures they have brought out has really impressed me. Every single one of them. Like the Starscream's so cool. The Hot Shot's really nice. The repainted Hot Shot, whatever his name is, the red one, Bob.
X Jeff. Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, I got that recently and was dead impressed with that. So, no, that's a great choice, Simon. Really, really is good. It's a really, really fun toy.
Right, you're up.
Talking about fun, ridiculous big toys, I have went for Generation Select Titan Class Black Zarak. Um, and cheating because I've always liked the idea of Black Zarek. It's never been I'm not a big G1 collector, as you know, so it's not as if I was going to go buy a G1 one, but I've bought like the Iron Factory version of Black Zarek. Thought it was really cool. Um, this was a steal. Like Entertainer had these for like 80 quid, I think it was. It's just stupid for a Titan, like crazy stupid for a Titan. The Scorponok mode is amazing. Scorponok mold is amazing.
Mm.
And these colors, it's gorgeous. Like I have a over the last 5, 6 years, I have started to have a real affection for black repaints of molds like that bring out details you don't notice before. And this is one of the absolute bests. I did an update grade kit to give it a scorpion tail, a better
Mm.
scorpion tail, which is beautiful. This when I put it beside the Gen Selects Grand Max, it's just they're just gorgeous together. So this is an absolute winner, and very much one of my favourite big toys. And I like I'm a big fan of Titan toys, Titan class toys. This is just outstanding.
Yeah, it really is. This was actually on my list originally, but I took it off because I wanted to fill it up with other things, which you then stole from me. Um, but yeah, it's a really great thing. I think it was I can't remember how I found out about the existence of Black Zarek. It was I saw a picture of it at some point and then got interested in finding out what it actually was and yada yada yada. But yeah, he did go on sale, The Entertainer, sort of 20, well, last Christmas or the Christmas
Okay.
before. He was very cheap. It was like 60, 70 quid or
It's
something.
quick, cheap as I can't remember. I just remember it being so cheap that it was like, why are you not buying? Why are people not buying this?
Yeah. I bought him because I just sold my HasLab Unicron. That's a mistake. Um, but mostly because it was just taking up just so much room, and it was like I'm gonna have to box him up and put him in the loft, and I don't want to do that. I'd much rather somebody else got some
And
love out of him.
the box that has Lab Unicron, I don't know about your loft space, but
Yeah,
mine's and Greg's both our boxes don't like mine's has got a arcade machine on it because it can't go up the loft. It's so big.
yeah. It was difficult to get in and out of my loft. I had to stow the ladder and sort of put it onto the side. It just fits through the hatch. Anyway, it's a
Anyway,
different story. But anyway, I bought him with some of the money that I got from Unicron as a I want something to replace Unicron, and I've sold all my
good
other
choice.
Titans. So I bought him, and he was lovely, and he stayed on my shelf for a while, and then he also got sold. But that's fine. But he's a gorgeous, gorgeous bot. It's really nice to have some of these more obscure things
Yeah.
turn up. Yeah, and I'll probably regret selling that, like I do most things that I sell. But yeah, absolutely amazing. And it's nice that he just looks so different from Scorponok as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Even though it's blatantly the same figure, but because of that head, it's just amazing. Love it.
Cracker.
Um, what's next?
You're up next.
Oh, yes. What have we got next? It's yes, this dude. Now, Crossbar. I've put him in this for two reasons. What one, I mentioned last time about how much I like weaponizers,
Yep.
and I had a lot of fun with those. And this figure, my mate sold me, um, and I wasn't really sure I wanted it, but he 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 owns a toy company, and he not you. Um, and he brought it along with me because he thought I was buying it with a bunch of other stuff. And he unboxed it so that he could carry it on the train when we went to go and see Rise of the Beasts. So I kind of felt I had to buy it off of him at that point.
Yeah.
I didn't really want it. So what I did was I took it to work and it became my desk fiddle bot. I love it. I play with it.
Great in it.
Honestly, it's just a really, really fun toy. I just forever making different
Yeah.
configurations, just fiddling with it. So
It
much fun.
captivates,
Yeah, that works.
encapsulates the idea of of Junkions. Like
Yeah,
for me, it's a perfect Junkion. It's a
yeah,
great toy, and a great
yeah.
choice.
I really like the idea of the other Junkions that they did. I never really wanted them, the other ones, because I wasn't a massive fan of the idea of them being other vehicles because Junkions are bikes in my head.
Yeah,
And he's just fun. Love him. Anyway, that's why I picked him.
not great choice.
You.
And then I have went for a repaint of one of yours because it's a great mold and it's a great colour scheme. And I went Toxitron. And if anybody listened to my Talking Toons episode with a returning guest, Pete, although I was technically a guest, you'll know I absolutely love Toxic Crusaders. I kind of love anything that's kind of funky and toxic. So I kind of love the Toxitron. I love these kind of colours. It just pops so much. It is absolutely stonking. And I have got it on my Toxic Crusader shelf, although it's not a Toxic Crusader. It just fits in there and it just looks right there. And it just, all three versions of this mold, I just love.
Yeah.
This is probably my favourite of them all. Just that wee bit of paint on the side where it's like oozing out the tanker just makes me smile. The blacks and the purples again, the black repaints and stuff just being gorgeous. The yellow, I just love it. Absolutely love it.
I think what
And I'm absolutely stoked.
yeah, he is lovely. I think what I really like about it as well, which is a weird thing to like, is that there's very few paint apps.
Yeah.
It's all coloured plastic, apart from there's some
Yes.
silver,
Yes.
and there's a couple of there's the orange bits, but
Yeah.
it's all just
Molded
two or
covered
three,
plastic, yeah,
yeah,
I
just
know.
three colored plastics. And that works so well with this. It
It
was
really
something that
does.
really annoyed me for some other figures, but for this, it just looks so cool. I've actually not picked him up a few times because even though it's a prime mold, he's is or isn't a prime depending on
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it's a great choice. I keep thinking about grabbing one. I might have to. It's so gorgeous.
And like, how good is it? You get three paint versions of one mold, and all three are just brilliant.
Yeah,
Like they are all three brilliant. I could have easily picked RID scores. The only reason I didn't is because, as much as it's the best version we've had since the original, it doesn't eclipse the original. The original's still one of the greatest toys I've ever owned. So
yeah,
it's hard to kind of drop that in. Whereas I didn't. There wasn't an original version of this. That I didn't have the original version of the Laser Prime. So it was easy for I could have easily picked yours in, but I thought if I'm going to go the molds, I didn't even know you were picking that. I went, I'm picking Foxtrot because it's just gorgeous, and then saw you picked it. I thought, well, actually, that's best of both worlds.
yeah, yeah. That works. I think we're done because we're only doing a top five this week.
You
Yeah.
still you didn't do
Oh,
it.
so.
You stole the wee box, it's just a wee sidebar in mine. You stole yours.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Good memory. This I only put this together earlier today. Studio Series Brawn because Brawn is amazing, and this is such a lovely, lovely version of him.
Really nice head
Um,
sculpt. Look at that. Look, that's a
the
crack head sculpt
head's
for it.
amazing. Also, he's in the way that Studio Series does something that Generations Chug normal line doesn't do. He's not full of gaps.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
That's a great point.
there are some gaps in the forearm, but they're filled out a little bit. Yeah, you can get some fillers and chuck them in there if you really wanted to. I'm sure there must be a third party kit somewhere. But yeah, he's just a chonksome, badass little
Yeah,
bot.
great ball.
His vehicle mode really, really looks like the G1 toy. Even more so than the animated animation model, and the bot mode looks like the animation model. He's just a stonking little. I love him. He's a really great little transformation. He's a real great little fiddle bot, and yeah, love him. Won't buy the dead version though because
No, who wants to? I don't. I find it really hard to buy that because, like, why do you want to remember them getting shot? Like,
yeah, yeah. It's annoying because out of all of the childhood trauma figures that they brought out so far, so what is this? Brawn,
gotcha.
Ratchet, Ironhide, and Prowl. Prowl,
And Dead Prime,
Dead Prime, but Dead Prime's a bit more, yeah.
dead.
Um, well, they haven't done him in Studio Series. They haven't
No, no, no.
done, Dead Prime was Earthrise for some reason.
Yeah,
Alternate Universe Prime or something, wasn't it? I forget. Um, but yeah, the the only one of those that I want is Prowl, but I don't want a dead Prowl. I don't care if it's a repaint of a previous version of the mold, but I want one sort of more Studio Seriesy.
yeah,
But there's a few of them now that they've done that were not in the Studio Series line, but could technically be Studio Series
yeah.
bots, like the that box set of four, which I've forgotten what was called, but the Hound and
Box at four, the five.
five, sorry, five.
Was it
Uh,
Sunstreaker, Hound, Trailbreaker?
Wheeljack,
What's
four or
fifth?
five. Oh, I don't
It
remember.
was definitely five. Definitely five. I'm sure it was five.
Either way, I
Maybe.
haven't got that either.
Anyway,
Um, but yeah, but I suppose that would just be more fleshing out your season one, season two
yeah,
collection rather than
brilliant.
just the movie. Anyway, lovely figure. If you don't have one, buy one because they're amazing.
Yep.
And that is actually it now. Yes.
Yeah, and it was hard to not pick 2024 bots in this, but I think it's right to do a 2024 on its own.
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of thing to do at the end of the year, like do your top bots. And I think that, but I also think because it was the 40th anniversary year, it deserves its own space and time to be talked about.
Yeah.
Not just for what toys came out, but what what was our reflection on it being the 40th anniversary? There was loads of new cool things that came out, or new funky ideas that came out in this year. Loads of things that surprised us, and loads of news and teases for the future as well. So I think it was right to kind of keep that going. But we could have easily done a top 10 and added and bulked it out with some more from this line and added in 2024. But I think what we've done is the right thing to do. And I'm looking forward to doing our proper kind of 2024 episode and then the reflection through the whole of the 40 years. Or there's some really good conversations the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, so the plan is, however well this actually comes to pass, the next episode will be a overview of the 40th anniversary and 2024 itself. We're going to pick our top 10 of the year, which is something we would normally do anyway, even if we weren't doing a special year of fun, exciting videos. We'll probably do a fairly short video of what our actual picks are, and then I think we'll probably do shorts of each bot that we've picked or something along those lines. Whether or not we stick to that plan, because we're really great at coming up with ideas and then not necessarily sticking to them. So yeah, that's the current plan. We'll see what pans out, and feel free to berate us in the comments if we don't do what we say we're going to, Guzzy.
No, and
Um,
then I think after that, so this will come out on the 5th. The reflection of the 40th anniversary will come out on the 12th, and then the next 2 weeks to round out January, we were thinking we would do a look back overall over the full 40 years. Pick out some of our favourite bits, TV shows, highlights, toys, loads of things. So we'll have kind of 2 episodes where we'll kind of talk through that, and then we'll have a new theme launch, whatever you want to call it, come February. And
yes,
that's the
yes.
intention, current intention, isn't it?
Yes, that's definitely the current intention. And we've got some really good ideas, so we're hoping that this is actually going to be even better than this year and possibly not as exhaustive. Um, okay, well, that's it for this week. Thank you very, very much for watching and liking and subscribing and commenting. And whether or not you've been watching us on YouTube or you've been listening to us whilst you're at the gym or on wherever you may listen to things. We really appreciate it. We'd do this anyway. If nobody watched these videos, we'd probably still do it because, as me and Moff has said on multiple occasions, we just like sitting and having a natter, and this is a good excuse to do that. And it means we can do this without our missuses moaning at us for just spending 2 hours locked away in our room nattering to our mates. So there we go. Again, thank you very much. Thank you very much to the wonderful Mr. Moff.
Thank you, mate.
You have a lovely week and stay safe. Bye.
Bye.